Estelle Godleski, your emotional support American abroad, and I've moved abroad 3 times in the last 12 years. This is How to Move Abroad for people who don't need more inspiration, they need an actual decision and a checklist. Each week, I cut through the internet noise and walk you through the stuff that actually decides whether this happens or not. Every episode ends with a weekly task because collecting information isn't progress, and someday isn't a strategy. Let's get into it. You're back. I'm so excited. And if you did the thing I asked last week, you have a country or maybe 2 written down somewhere, possibly in your notes app, because between a grocery list and a screenshot of a meme you meant to send to someone 3 weeks ago, that's fine. It still counts. So where are we going? I genuinely wanted to know if you sent it to me on Instagram. Thank you. We've probably had a couple of chats by now. If you haven't, well, you still have time. I want you to hold whatever place you were thinking of in your head for this entire episode, because we're going to do something fun. We're going to take your country, the one you picked, the one that's been living rent-free in your brain for the past week, and we're going to put it through what I like to call the Tuesday test. Not an Instagram test, not the would I be happy here in photos test, not the does this country have good vibes test, the Tuesday test. Because anyone can imagine themselves living somewhere beautiful on a Saturday in good weather with a glass of something local and nowhere else to be. That's not life. That's a vacation with ambition. The Tuesday test is, can I actually live here on a regular, unremarkable, nothing special Tuesday with my actual family, my actual budget, my actual need to buy toilet paper and find a dentist and figure out why the heating makes that noise and, oh my gosh, what do I do next? That's what we're doing today. And I promise it's more fun than it sounds, but it's still important. Let's get this out of the way first. Every country that shows up on the best places to move abroad list has an Instagram version and a Tuesday version, and they are not the same place. Let me just tell you. The Instagram version is the old town at golden hour, the fresh bread from the supermarket, the outdoor cafe where everyone is inexplicably attractive and unhurried and smiling and just relaxed as all get out. It's the healthcare system that costs approximately nothing, the work-life balance that makes your current life look like a cry for help. The Tuesday version is also all of those things, but it's also the bureaucracy that makes you want to lie down on the floor and just stay there. The language barrier that makes a simple phone call a 20-minute ordeal as you're trying to describe a pillow in 47 different words. It's the apartment that looks enormous in the listing and is approximately the size of your current bathroom or maybe your walk-in closet. It's the cultural thing that you keep accidentally doing wrong that nobody will tell you about directly, but you can tell by the looks that you're getting. Both versions are real. Both versions will be your life. The Instagram version is why you want to go. The Tuesday version is what you're actually signing up for. And the good news is that the Tuesday version is almost always fine, genuinely, livably, happily fine. I don't want you to walk into the Tuesday version thinking you're getting the Instagram version and then, oh shit, where did I go? There are 5 questions I want you to run your country through as you're kind of thinking this about. So I recommend grabbing a piece of paper or open your notes app next to the grocery list, whatever works. You can even do a phone recording on your app once you're done. I want you to answer yourself 5 questions or ask yourself 5 questions and answer them. Number 1, can you afford to actually live there, not visit there? This is not the same question. Visiting somewhere affordable means you're delighted by how cheap the wine is. Living somewhere affordable means your monthly outgoings are substantially lower than your income. Those are different calculations. And when you move abroad, just as a thought, just be aware, if you're moving abroad to a country where it is, yay, delightfully affordable, that also might mean that your salary will be delightfully affordably less, like undelightfully affordably less. Like, in other words, substantially less. So pull up Numbeo. That's a great app or a great website that you can use. It's free. It's reasonably accurate enough. It will give you a realistic monthly cost of living in your target city, not the country, but the actual city, because Lisbon and rural Portugal are not the same number. Berlin and a small German town are not the same number, okay? And somewhere in Tuscany are not the same number. So pick an actual city that you're considering and look at the actual number, then compare it to your income situation. If you're bringing remote income, does it cover it comfortably? If you're planning to work locally, what does a local salary look like for your field? Because again, if it's a cheaper country, you're going to have a smaller salary if you're having a local job. If you're living on savings while you get settled, how many months does your number buy you? This is not scary math. It's just basic math. Do it. I know not everybody likes math, but it's useful to kind of understand that. Okay. So that's question one. Can you afford to actually live there? Question two, does your visa lane actually work for this specific country? Now, we've talked about this before. We talked about the visas that you are looking at, right? Whatever your visa lane is, I want you to look and make sure that you actually have that visa lane in that country, whether it's a student visa or it's a work visa or it's a trailing spouse visa or if it's family reunification or if it's volunteer, whatever it is. Not every visa type exists in every country. Digital nomad's a great example. They do not exist everywhere. And the requirements vary widely, even for the same visa types across different countries. So I know we picked our visa lane a few episodes ago. That's great. Now go look up whether that visa exists in the specific country and what the specific requirements are. Not a blog post about it, the actual government immigration website. Yes, I know it's going to be slightly soul destroying to read. Do it anyway because you need it. The questions are, does the income requirement match what you actually have? Is there a minimum savings requirement, for example? How long does the application take? Do you apply from the US or from inside the country? These are questions that you may want to know the answer to, and it would be helpful. While we're here, and I will add this in, I have an app called Abroad AF that will help you figure out that I currently have 14 countries. If your country's not on that list, let me know. And when you download the app, we can add more countries, but specifically, we give you kind of what the savings requirements are. We help you run through the different visa types that you may or may not be eligible for in the app, right? So it gives you currently 14 countries and tells you like the Portugal D7 visa, how much savings do you need? You put in your family situation, you put in your savings that you currently have now, and the app will help you figure out which visas that you can qualify for going in and which countries you can qualify for visas there. So you can either pick one country, you can look at the 14 we have. If you were looking at one that's not there, let me know. I can try and work on adding it, but those things could help you. The app itself is free to access. It's a web app. It is not yet available on your smartphone from like the App Store, but it is available for you to save on your computer or on your smartphone yourself if you wish to, or on your laptop or wherever. It's really super simple. You can get the app and then you can figure out exactly what country you qualify for. There's a free version and then there's a paid version that gives you way more details as well. So hopefully that can help you. So let me know. I'll drop in the show notes the link to grab the Abroad as Fuck app. You'll get the free version in the show notes. Grab it, take a look at it, and then if your country is not there, if you see it and you're like, whoa, Miss Dell, the country isn't here, let me know. I can always add more countries to it as well. Okay. Question three then is related to you having kids. If you have them, one of the questions that I want you to ask yourself is, what does Tuesday actually look like for your kids? School is a big one. International schools exist almost everywhere, but they are expensive as honestly. Sometimes eye-wateringly so, and they create a bubble that some families love and some families find isolating. Local schools are free or nearly free and immersive and will absolutely accelerate your kids' language acquisition, but they require your child to walk into a classroom where nobody speaks their language on day one, which is either totally fine or genuinely hard depending on your kid. Neither option is wrong, but you need to know which one you're choosing and what it costs financially and emotionally before you land. For us, just as a side, we originally started with an international school. And from when we arrived until now, my daughter has been in an international school. She will switch to a local school starting in grade 4 for a number of different reasons. I'll do a whole podcast episode actually on that. That would be really helpful, I think, for you. But when you make that choice, it is not always black and white, and you don't have to stay with one or the other. You can always choose to change if necessary. You're also going to need to consider stuff like childcare, pediatricians, the school calendar, which is probably different from what you know, the cultural expectations around homework and extracurriculars, which are also probably different. It's good to kind of understand that and look into it. It's not obsessive. It's just enough to know what you're not what you're going in so you're not blindsided? Those are good questions. As you're starting to prepare for your full move abroad, these are the questions that you should be asking yourself. So like we talked about so far, can you live there? Can you afford to live there? Can you get a visa there? What does Tuesday look like for your child? So question 4 is, what does Tuesday look like for your career? If you're keeping remote work, does your employer actually allow you to work from another country? Because a lot of people assume yes, and the answer is more often complicated than that. There's tax implications, legal implications, time zone implications. Check before you assume. Make sure your boss agrees. If you're planning to work locally, what does your field look like in your target country? Is there demand for what you do? Are there licensing or certification requirements that don't automatically transfer from where you're moving from? Does the job market actually look like for a foreigner without local experience and without the local language? I'm not trying to talk you out of anything. I just want to make sure you go in with eyes wide open so you're not surprised on month 3. And as we go through the next weeks of podcasts, we'll go into all these details. I just want to throw it out there for you to kind of start thinking about, okay? Question 5 is, can I actually live in this country's culture, not just visit it? This is one of the most underrated questions on the list, and also the one that people usually get stuck in and like to skip because it feels soft and unquantifiable. It's not soft, and it matters enormously. Some cultures are loud, some are quiet, some are warm to strangers immediately, some take you years to crack and will feel cold until suddenly they don't. Some have bureaucracies that will make you want to absolutely lose your mind. Some will have relationships with time that will make you insane if you're someone who needs everything to happen when they're supposed to happen. None of these are deal breakers necessarily, but knowing them going in means you can prepare for them instead of just being blindsided and resentful about them. Read stuff by people who actually live there, not just travel writers, but actual people who live there. Find I hate this word expat, but find the groups of foreigners, find the forums, find the people who are being honest about what surprised them. That's your data. That's the Tuesday test. Again, you're not going to be able to answer all these questions right away, but as you go through, you may get to a point where the Tuesday test doesn't pass. Once you run it through the Tuesday test and something came back weird, the cost of living is higher than you thought, for example, or the visa you were counting on has an income requirement you don't currently meet, or the school situation is way more complicated than you'd accounted for. First of all, good. Honestly, genuinely good. Finding this out now is approximately 1 million times better than finding it out after you got there. Second, this is not a sign that moving abroad doesn't work for you. It's a sign that this specific country is in this specific configuration doesn't work for you right now. Those are completely different problems, and I don't want you to mix them up. So what do? You can adjust one variable. Maybe the country stays, but the city changes because the city you were dreaming about is expensive, but there's another city in the same country that has 30% less cost and everything that you need, for example. Or maybe the country changes because there's another place where your visa lane is easier or the cost of living is lower. The school situation is simpler. And honestly, the Tuesday version is just as good. Or maybe the timeline changes somehow because you need 6 months more to hit the income requirement, or you need to build the savings a little bit more. And that's okay. It's just a plan with a date on it. It doesn't change anything. You change one variable, not everything, but just one thing. That's how that works. You test, you adjust, you test again. It's not failure, it's just planning. And planning that responds to real information is the only kind that actually gets you abroad. And then there's the question of the fun part of, what if it totally passes the test? You ran the numbers, the visa works, the cost of living is manageable, the school situation is fine, your career situation is figure outable, the culture is one you can actually live in and not just photograph. It works. Your country works. Yay! Can I tell you what that means? That means you're not dreaming anymore. You're planning. There is a difference, and it is enormous. And I want you to sit in it for a second. You are not someone who wants to move abroad someday. You are someone who has identified a specific country with a specific visa pathway and a specific cost of living that works for your specific budget and your specific family situation. That's a plan. That's how you're going to get the fuck out. That is a real plan with actual legs. So what does that mean? You write it down, the whole thing: country, city, visa type, approximate timeline, rough budget. Use the app. Like I was talking about earlier, the Abroad as Fuck app, not only does it help you choose your country, it helps you figure out all of your visa situation documents. It helps you do all the steps of moving abroad, and it helps you figure out your budget. You write it all down. It gets you all there. That's how you're going to get there. Because once it's on paper, once it's together in the app, it stops being a fantasy and starts being a project, and projects get done. I have your step-by-step project in the app for you. Okay, here's your thing this week. Run your country in general through the 5 questions. All of them, please, in whatever order makes sense to you. Write down the answers. Messy is fine. Ranges are fine. I need to figure this out is a total, completely valid answer. If you don't know, it's okay. Then at the bottom, write 2 things. Either this works and here's the shape of it, or this needs one adjustment and this is how I'm going to adjust it. That's it. There's 5 questions, 1 conclusion written down. You are not booking flights. You're not telling anyone. You're just getting the thing out of your head and onto a place that it can actually become real. So do it this week. It takes probably about an hour to do a little bit of research. I know you have an hour, even if it's in the car, in the parking lot, at a red light, whatever it is. Okay. Go do that. That will certainly help you. Grab if you really are wanting to make this super serious for yourself, grab the app with the link in the show notes. It's broad as fuck. It will help you figure out all of the steps that you need. It factors in the Tuesday test a little bit with you as well. It leaves out the school situation, but it does help you figure out all the steps of moving abroad. So that's the Tuesday test. Let me know on Instagram how your country did for you. I genuinely want to know, did it pass? Did something come back weird? Did you find out something that surprised you? I love the country part of the process because it's where things start to get real for people, and real is where the good stuff actually happens. So next week, we're going to keep going. We're getting into the actual mechanics of making this happen once you know how your country works. We're going to take the stuff we figured out on the Tuesday test and move forward, and then we can make it happen for you. That's it. That's the Tuesday test. I will see you next week. You have totally earned a cup of coffee if you haven't had one yet, or a glass of wine, or both, whatever's right for you. All right, my friend, I will see you next week. Thanks for tuning in to A Broadly Speaking. If today's episode got you dreaming a little bigger or thinking a little braver, go ahead and hit subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who's ready for their own adventure. And hey, don't be a stranger. Come hang out with me over on Instagram at I am Estelle for the real, unfiltered life abroad. Keep that passport handy, and remember, life's too short to stay in one place.